Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Well, with Masterchef about to start yesterday, Australia, well, globally, this news rocked everybody yesterday when we heard the news that Jock Zonfrillo had passed away. And there is a lot of people that are sending out all their wishes. This morning we wanted to get someone on who is very close to Jock, a good friend of ours as well, Colin Fassnidge, and we know how busy you are, Faz. You've just jumped off a flight, so we appreciate your time, buddy.
How are you? Good morning.
Faz, thank you for talking, mate. Not easy to chat at this stage with the passing so raw, and just yesterday afternoon we learnt the news. How long had you known Jock for, mate? Obviously the chef community is pretty tight.
Mate, you don't realise how tight our community is. I've known Jock for 20 years. He worked at a restaurant called Restaurant 41. I worked at Bank. You know, guy of an amazing skill. You know, I don't know. My phone hasn't stopped. I'm pretty sure every chef I know's phone hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
It's like you don't realise how tight the hospitality community is. And, mate, they're just rocked to the core. They're shocked at this.
Faz, I want to ask about your industry, and it's such a pressure cooker industry, and the environment that you're in. You're in the spotlight as well now as well. You're a celebrity chef as well, the same as Jock was. Does that play on you? Do you have moments, mate, where it's really tough for you? Anxiety plays a role in your life as well, and you have some dark moments?
Oh, look, I'm the sort of guy who's pretty glass half full. I know Jock had his little worry beads, and he'd spoke about it. But I've spoke to Jock about it before when he left sort of restaurant land and went into TV land. Sometimes it's seen as you've sort of sold out, or you know what I mean. And there was a lot of that went on, and I spoke to him about that. Going, mate, we're doing a job, and it is a high pressure job.
Yeah.
Like when I heard the news yesterday, I rang for swearing now, cut that out. I rang Manu, and I was like, because it's like your work wife or whatever you want to call it,
a member of the family.
So much time on the road together, and it was a shock. And I sent Mel and Andy a message yesterday. The Masterchef team, like even our MKR team, are in shock because we all work together.
Yeah.
Like everyone always says we're rivals or whatever, but mate, even the TV team of the two different shows is one big family.
Yeah, I think they say those things about people that work in the same industry. They're up against each other, but in actual fact, they're your allies. They're the only other people who understand the kind of pressures you are under and the scrutiny that you come up against and the way you work and the sleepless nights and all the hard work and criticism. You're on the same page.
So, like when I did Kitchen Nightmares, Jock was one of the first on going, what a great show, congratulations. I often ring him at the start of Masterchef, good luck with your show, and slag off his waistcoats because I was the one who set him on the path to wearing waistcoats.
Faz, you know what? I didn't realise, and I hadn't watched a lot of MasterChef, and therefore I didn't know a hell of a lot about Jock, and I unfortunately never had the chance to meet him. But, learning a lot about him overnight and also seeing everyone celebrate the man that he was and also his level of success, I didn't realise he was at the top of the top.
Made 3 hats. He was he'd won Restaurant of the Year, Gourmet Traveller. His restaurant, Orna, which was all using native ingredients. Mate, he was like one of our best chefs in Australia. And not only such a great guy, a young family man who's lost a dad, he was top of the industry as well, a huge loss to the industry and the TV industry. It's just the whole world, I reckon, for chefs yesterday just stood still in the afternoon and was in shock.
You know, it's interesting too because he looked like, a fun guy. A lot of the outpouring yesterday was also a celebration of times where people had been out with him having a couple of drinks, and the photos across social media all celebrated him and his personality. So I would suggest the two of you at the bar would have been a great night out, Faz.
I remember a certain night in a certain bar in Adelaide where we were dancing on the bar. But then I remember another night where we had I think it was the Moët Chandon or something, we both had to do a dish for this function.
Yeah.
And he was drinking water and I was on the whiskey. So there you go.
There you go.
Faz, you come from a tough background yourself. We know you've got this tough exterior. We've had you on the show. You're a good mate of ours. But how important is it these days to talk to friends when you are going through these dark times?
Well, I think yesterday was one of the biggest eye-openers, actually. Like, when stuff like this happens, I got so many calls from so many people. And I was like, it's not me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm actually all right.
Yep.
I'm in shock. But everyone's like, are you okay? But the chef world sort of does look after the chef world.
Faz, another one. Can I ask you as well? Because my boys were looking at the news last night and asking about it. Did you talk about it with your daughters? Did you sit down? Have you had a conversation yet?
Well, they just... You know what? I got home. Jane gave me a hug, so much be glad. I got home. I had a whiskey, mate.
Yep.
Well, I had a very large whiskey. Said to the kids, it's sort of... They don't understand yet, but I mean, it's... I don't know. It's, like we're about to do a shoot today,
yep,
and our entire team's in shock, and we're a different show.
Yeah, I bet it's ripped the heart out of the game. You know what? Your heart pours and your mind jumps directly to the family.
Yeah.
And I believe, Faz, they've been overseas. They've been away from home, and to think that you have to travel back to the family home, and it obviously won't be the same. But that is a hard time for them.
Yeah, I think it was very emotional last night watching his young kids on the TV like that.
Oh my God,
that's the worst. And you know, a lot of our life is on the road in hotel rooms. You know, you're not at home. You don't see your family. So you know, I sort of mirror his life a little bit. Of you're away a lot.
Yep.
I've been home 3 days in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
That is hard.
Makes you think about it.
We appreciate your time, mate. We really, really do. You're a good mate of ours. And Faz, you know, with anything like this, and if you're ever feeling like that, and for anyone out there, if you're having these feelings at the moment, you need to speak to somebody. And the number for Lifeline is 13 11 14. If you know someone who is struggling as well, please get on the blower and have a chat to them if you can. We appreciate your time, Faz. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for your honesty.
All right, guys. Look after yourselves.
Thanks, buddy. And the question too, as we were talking off air, is, you know, Masterchef, what does that look like now? As you mentioned, Fitz, it was meant to air last night for the first time. They were in the bridge. And do you play it out?
Well, it would have to be up to the family, wouldn't it? I would say it would have to be up to the family.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Because then, Tommy, you said they were considering maybe that there was a re-edit in it, because you can't help but watch it and think of...
Well, it could
think of the passing.
I mean, could you play it in the honour of Jock? I mean, that's the way you could look at it. But if the family don't want to, you have to respect their decision there.
Be a very hard call. Be a very hard call to make.
I think there's something I'd like to say, and I know that we put out the number of Lifeline, and you, Fitzy, are saying that people should reach out when they're feeling like this. I think that we all need to remember that it's not only now that we need to be making it okay for people to ask for help, and that when people do need help, that we also need to support them and not criticise them.
It's a really good message. I had a mate the other day that called, and he said, "Oh, how's your mental health these days?" And my first reaction was I was a bit taken back, but then I said, "Well, firstly, thank you for asking, because you don't hear it every day." And Kate, you're right. It should be something that...
it's not something we should just be doing today. And yes, it's okay, and you should call this number. Like, it should be okay all of the time, and it shouldn't have to get to this point to make it okay to ask for help. And there are people out there struggling every day. And rather than criticising them, let's make it okay for them to ask for help and to not kind of pile shame onto people for asking for help, because it's incredibly, incredibly brave.
100%.
Beautifully said, Kate. Thank you very much.
The Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.